Continuing with Objective 5, now we're going to analyze and define the medical terms. So in your book, they are giving us 3 steps when we're trying to analyze medical terms. So before I go on to the next slide, step 1 is to divide the term into word parts with slashes, and they're giving us the example osteoarthropathy. So they're putting a slash between every word root and suffix. If you turn the page, there is a word part list. They're giving you, 4 word parts with their definitions, 5 suffixes with the definition, 2 prefixes with the definition, and a combining vowel. So we're going to be going back to this word part list several times to get the answers, okay? But for step 1, we're dividing the terms into word parts with slashes. So you can see they put a slash between oste and the O and arthra, the arthra and O, and then O and pathy again. Step 2 is label each word part by using the following abbreviations: WR, word root, P, prefix, S, suffix, C, combining vowel. So based on our word part list, oste is a word root, O is a combining vowel, arthra is a word root, O, combining vowel, and pathy is a suffix. Then step 3, it says label each combining form. Remember, the combining form is just the word root slash and the combining vowel together. That's it. So it says underline the word root and combining vowel, then write the abbreviation CF below the combining form. Again, this is just for learning purposes. So what I want you to do, here is our word, arthritis. Based on our word part list, I want you to put your slashes where you think they need to go. Okay, I'll just give you a second. Again, you can always pause it if you want to get out a piece of paper and write it out. That is perfectly fine. Or just even in your textbook, you can write it out. So put your slashes where they need to go. And on the next slide, I will tell you if you are correct. And then also go ahead and label your word parts right away, because the answers are actually on the same slide. So hopefully you have this correct. If you added the slashes, you should have added it after the R, before the I. Okay, and again, we know this based on the word part list in your textbook. And then again, based on that word part list, we know that arthra is a word root and itis is a suffix. There's no combining vowel at all. Now in your textbook, go to the part or the section that says defining medical terms. It says to define medical terms, apply the meaning to each word part contained in the term, and we'll do that in a second. But look right below that. They're giving us the medical term osteoarthropathy, okay? Step 1, it says begin by defining the suffix. In most medical terms, not all of them, but most medical terms that are built from word parts, you're actually going to start defining the term starting with the suffix and then going back to the beginning of the word. So let me read that again. Begin by defining the suffix, and in this case it's pathy. So write down the definition on the line below. So they're doing it for you. Number 2, it says move to the beginning of the term, define the word roots oste and arthra, write the definitions on the line below, continuing the definition of the term. So you'll probably have to flip back to your word part list. So what is the definition of pathy? It is disease. So you're going to write disease, and they've already included the smaller words of the, and then what's the definition of oste? It's bone. And then they've included and for you already. And then they're asking for the definition of arthra, which means joint. So when you're defining this medical term, osteoarthropathy actually means a disease of the bone and joint. You're starting with the suffix and then going to the beginning of the word again. So in our case, moving on with the slides, our example was arthritis. Itis is inflammation, and again, just look at the word part list. Arthro is a joint. So again, the O in arthro in that combining form is not used since the suffix begins with the vowel. So it's just arthritis. So the definition would be inflammation of the joint, because again, you start with the suffix itis and then go back to the beginning of the word again. There are several examples or several exercises you can do for more practice. I highly recommend you doing them. Again, the answers are in Appendix A of the textbook. So here is a review question, which of the following is analyzed correctly? Again, go ahead and pause the screen if you need to, just so you can look at them and pick which answer you think is correct. So hopefully you selected B as your correct answer. So let me just quickly tell you why the other ones are not correct. Well, in letter A, this Y is not a suffix. It's the whole pathy is the suffix, not just path and then Y. There will never be two suffixes ever, okay? And then in this case, arthra is not a prefix, it is a word root, so that's why this one is wrong. So B is your correct answer. Okay, one more thing. Objective 6, build medical terms for given definitions. In some of your exercises, even for homework, you'll be given the definition and you have to tell me what the term is. Okay, well, it looks like I messed up and I gave you the answer right away, and it should have been just on the next page, but that's okay. So this figure is in your book as well. So they're showing a normal knee joint and then a knee joint showing inflammation. So they're asking you based on the definition, by the definition, osteoarthritis, what is the medical term? And so when you're creating the medical term, you're just kind of going in order then. So it's actually best if you just look at your textbook or disregard what's in red. So you have to know what the word root for bone is, and again, that's oste. The combining vowel more than likely is going to be O. The word root for joint is arthra, and then the suffix for inflammation is itis. So your actual medical term is osteoarthritis. And so that's actually the next screen that shows you the answers, which I messed up on. So the rest of this chapter is just a review of what we learned. In table 1.4, they are analyzing the terms by dividing them up into word parts, labeling them, and then underlining the combining form. Then they're defining, they're giving the meaning of each word part. Then they are beginning with the suffix and then moving to the beginning of the term to actually define it. And then building, place word parts together to form terms, so you're basically doing the opposite. And the good thing with this textbook is that they do exercises both ways. They'll give you the definition, you create the medical term, or they'll give you the medical term and you have to define it, either way. And then of course add your combining vowels as appropriate. Then next it goes on to medical terms not built from word parts, and there's not a slide on this. But again, we've already gone over all this, so this is just a review. Your eponyms are named after a person or a place. Acronyms are created based on the first letter of a phrase. Modern language is just normal language that we use on an everyday basis. And then there are some times when there are medical terms built from Greek and Latin word parts, but they can't be analyzed or broken down as easily as the word parts are, okay? Such as they're giving you the example orthopedic. You can't break them up into word parts, okay? So the medical terms not built from word parts honestly just have to be memorized. There's no other way around it. So you just have to study those a little bit harder. The terms that are built from word parts, you don't have to study osteoarthritis. If you know what osteo is, if you know what arthro is, if you know what itis is, then you can answer any medical term that has word parts with those specific word parts included, because itis will be inflammation no matter what. Okay? And then they have a chapter review, which again, one more time goes over everything that we just learned. So it's a lot of repetition, which again is perfect for this class. So that will end this recording. You can now go to eCampus and complete your activities.